Hi, this is Dr. McClellan, and this video is about the lab report in Unit 3. Alright, so I'm going to go through the assignment, and then I'm going to open my document and show you what I want it to look like. Unfortunately, I can't show you how to do it because some of the things on here, I don't know what software you're using, and some of the softwares I don't know how to do. Alright, so this assignment's goals are to report the physical performance of your brands. So you're going to perform 3 physical experiments on all 3 of your brands. And what you're going to try to do, your goal is to determine which brand performs the best and which performs the worst. And your physical experiments are determined by your product type. And what you want to test is how your brands perform doing what they're supposed to do. So, for example, pens are expected to write clearly without skipping, to be easy to hold by anyone, and the ink is supposed to dry quickly and not smudge on the page. So 3 of these expectations would be tested in a lab report. So, for example, the pens could be written with over a period of several days to test for skipping. Several people could be asked to hold the pens and write with them for ease of use, and then you could survey whether or not they thought it was easy to hold. And then last, the pens could be used to write on paper, and then researchers rub their hand over it to see if there's any ink smudges. You will need to take lab notes and photos of your experiments. And this information will be included in the next unit's formal report, so it's important that you get this assignment right. Okay, so you're going to watch this video and then read Chapter 7.6 Lab Reports and 3.3 List in Technical Writing Essentials. And you write a lab report for your research topic. Your audience is me, and I'm acting as your work supervisor in this assignment. You're going to format your document as an internal memo meant to be attached to a work email. This is very important. It's to be attached to the work email, not copied and pasted into the email itself. Be sure that you include all the sections of an internal memo, and you know the rest. I'll use a template and all that. Okay, so I'm going to move that there. Pull up that memo. All right. Okay, so the first thing you do is you need your standard memo block. You have your to, your from, your date, and then the subject line should include all 3 of your brands' names and the word lab report. So here I have lab report, and then there's my 3 brands. And then you're going to summarize your report's methods and results in 1 sentence. That's the very first block. And then the next section, you want to remind your audience why you're doing this report, and the purpose of this research project is to find the best choice financially and performing. And perform the best choice financially and performing gel pen to use in our office. Sorry, I stopped reading it. It didn't make any sense. Now, the next section is your materials and methods. And you'll notice I started, when I subhead, I boldface my subheading. It's just to give the reader an easier, it makes it easier to read for the reader. And these are all of the items I used in my tests. Even down to the phone, my phone that I took pictures with. So you want to have a clear and thorough description of what you used, and then how you did your experiments where appropriate. So here's my methods used in this research. So writing ease, and yes, your report's going to be very repetitive. So you'll notice this is the exact same sentence except for the brand's name. And was used to write 20 12-inch lines on a page of Hammer Mill copy plus paper. So I even used, sorry, grammar, punctuation. Okay, then, and be sure that you name them, you title them test 1 and the focus of the test, test 2, the focus of the test. You'll see here, I wrote a dark circle for 36 seconds on a page and then rubbed it with my hand to see if it was going to smudge. And then test 3, longevity of the ink. I submerged, so I put each piece of paper, same pieces of paper as up here. I put the pages in ink, in water, and pulled them up, dried it to see, and then dried it to see if any of the ink transferred to the paper towel. So the next section is the results section. And this section presents just the raw data. So just what happened. You're not making any recommendations in this document. So this one wrote 20 lines smoothly without skipping. This one began skipping on the 11th line, and this one began on the first line and continued to skip to line 20. And then these are the pictures of my experiments along with a caption. Now, let me warn you, yes, I got my pictures from the internet. Are you allowed to do that? No. In this case, do as I say, not as I did. Mine is just for, it's just to show you what it's supposed to look like. It's just as an example. And so I just went ahead and copied and pasted from the internet rather than going through and doing all of these myself. Okay, drying time. So let's see. So the first one was completely dry, left no marks. Second one mostly dry, left a faint mark, and then was not at all dry and left a dark ink mark on the researcher's hand. And again, here are pictures of my experiment and my captions. Be sure that you caption with the brand and the title of the experiment. So this would be 3 different pictures for you. And then longevity of the ink. And if you read these, so this one did not run, this one did not run, and this one showed ink transfer. So can you guess already which one I'm not going to recommend in my formal report? All right. So caption form. Okay, right here. Try to, especially, and this is why it's important for you to take the pictures with your own cell phone or camera, because you want to format them so that they're each the same size. One should not be larger than the other. And you have to take your photos yourself. Don't copy and paste pictures from the internet. Now, you don't need the rest of the sections presented in the textbook because you're only presenting information in this particular lab report. You're not making a recommendation. Oh, and the reason I have this, it says it's the last section, it's a photographic presentation of your experiment. You're supposed to put your pictures in with, so after test 1, you should have your 3 pictures. After test 2, you should have your 3 pictures. And after test 4, you should have your 3 pictures. I like to put it separate in the instructions so that it's clear what they're supposed to look like and where they're supposed to go. Okay, so a lot of repetition in this assignment. That's perfectly okay. If you have any problems thinking of some sort of experiments to do, physical experiments to do with your brands, think about what you expect them to do. What do we expect them? What do we expect them to perform? And then the experiments are how you're checking how they perform, what we expect them to perform. All right. If you have any questions, contact me. Oh, and if you can't figure out physical some physical tests for your brands, let me know, and I'll see what I can help you with. Okay, if you have any comments or questions, contact me.